I'd like to call to order the March 10th, 2025 School Committee meeting for West Bridgewater. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence. Please be seated. We will open this meeting by roll call. When I say your name, just state whether you are present. Carrie Lazardi? Here. David Schmier?
Here.
Christine Myskowski?
Here.
Carrie Milton is not present. And myself, Robin Dragonetti, here. The listing of matters on the agenda are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and the other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting will be live streamed for cable. A recording of this meeting will also be posted on the West Bridgewater Community Access Media website, wb-cam.org. Our first order of business is executive session. So move to enter executive session for the purpose of collective bargaining with the West Bridgewater Education Association pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, and to reconvene in open session. Is there a second?
Second.
And we will conduct this vote by roll call. Mrs. Myskowski?
Okay, I'm going to roll call. Robin Dragonetti.
Yes.
Carrie Lazardi.
Yes.
Christine Myskowski. Yes. David Smith.
Yes.
I'm going to, I have written down, I'm going to read back the vote. Robin, yes. Carrie, yes. Me, Christine Myskowski, yes. David Smith, yes.
So moved. We'll enter executive session to reconvene shortly. Return to regular session. So our next item on the agenda is unfinished business, our fiscal year 26 school budget vote, which we went over last time. Is there any new information to present?
There is, and I will not go through all the slides,
Okay.
unless you want to. They're all in here, though, just to make sure if there are any questions. Let me get to the new slide. So, one of the adjustments we made, thank you to Ms. Lazari for pointing out that my salary wasn't in exactly as it should have been, which was already negotiated for next fiscal year. So that amount was added in, and the amount was taken out of contractual obligations where the percentage was put before. So, and that information was shared with you. I think the 3 different budget lines or pages that were affected. So I just wanted to point out a few things that are with this budget, that in this budget, a reminder that no new positions were added in the budget. This budget assumes 4 kindergarten teachers. When we continue to look at our census numbers. So that is remaining still consistent where we were last year. So we're hoping to keep 4. Our current kindergarten is 79 students, where we know we're going to have little changes down in that. So we are predicting 4 first grade teachers for next year, which in essence is a reduction of a teacher, but we do have a position that is open. And again, we want to put it out there, though, that these are positions that down the road, we're going to have to add a 5th. We know that. Maybe it's the year after, maybe it's 2 years after, but we've right-sized down to these, but we know we're probably going to have to adjust it back up due to enrollment. So I want to make sure that's clear to the public. In general, this budget is based on right-sizing, based on enrollment, looking at covering grade levels, looking at different areas where we feel we could reduce to get to our final number. And as talked about before, this budget also has 20 fewer school choice students, which has a net effect of $100,000 less in our school contributions, and the increase in our agricultural schools which is an increase with tuition and transportation of $324,000. So this just shows, again, these are the same numbers we showed last time, for comparison, that we shows our overall budget number, which is our operating budget at the very top. We minus out our school contributions, gives us what we're asking for at this point in the school committee budget of $18,547,337. And you'll see the increases. And again, it's important, I think, to show that as of now, we're proposing a 5.47% increase. I'm going to talk about a little bit of history in 1 second and one more slide. But some of the things that are somewhat out of our control, but have to be within the budget. The first one being school choice with $100,000. If that 0.57 was out, then our budget increase would only be 4.9% if we had the room to add those students, because our school contributions would be up. And if you took out the agricultural tuition and transportation, the $324,000 plus the school choice, it's really just barely over a 3% increase to last year's budget. And then one final slide. This slide, it just shows to the graph where we were over the past 3 years. So FY24, we were 7.78% of an overall increase. FY25, 6.93. We're looking right now at 5.47. But if you then look at in the lighter color, that's what I just talked about in the previous slide, 4.9% or 3.06%.
I think this slide might be better illustrated with the fiscal year 26 minus SC and with those two superimposed over the
Okay.
5.47.
It's a good
Because
point.
it looks like we're planning on going down that much by
Good
the next
point.
couple
That's
of
not the
years.
plan, yes. I did keep the FY26 the same, but I don't know how to do that, but someone definitely can show me
Somebody
how to do
not-
that.
Looking at the graph and not
Yeah.
really paying attention to the axis might
Yeah,
think
all right.
that
Yeah.
that's what our plan is.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, but, oh.
And I don't want them to say, you promised us.
Yeah, no, good point.
Right, no, it's a good point.
I can figure that out, I think, but thank you. And I think that's all I have for new information.
Okay. So it's been brought to my attention that we've been voting, not incorrectly, but that we really need to go line by line. So I think that what we'll do is I'll read off each line. If anyone has any discussion on that, that you want to ask questions, or you want to make a motion to amend the line, we will do that, and then we will vote on the total after we've gone over each line. Does that sound?
I think you can do it that way, Robin, if you want.
Yep. How do
You
you
don't
want
have to do every line, you could just do each page, each cost center.
Yeah, no, I meant on the cover. We're on the
Gotcha.
same page. We're on the same page.
That would be a
Gotcha.
lot longer.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do,
I was
I'm
like,
not gonna do
oh,
every
I
line. We'll be here till 10:30, so. Okay, so line 3110, school committee is 11,825. Any questions on that? No? Okay. Line 3120, superintendent's office, the new number is $287,031. Any discussion or questions on that?
No.
No? Okay. The next line is 3140, finance and legal, 303,553. Any questions or discussion?
What was that amount again, Robin?
303,553, unless I'm looking at it
That's the total
wrong.
school budget, and
Oh, I'm so sorry,
So I
yeah.
was like, I have 213.
I'm looking at the wrong, I'm
That's
looking at
all
the
right.
total. All right. But that actually does bring me to my next question, which I guess is for you, Kara. As the school committee, wouldn't we be voting on the total school budget? I mean, we can vote separately on the appropriation amount and the total school.
That I would need further clarification on, because I think we're just voting on what we're bringing to the town.
Okay, all right. So looking back over here, that number would be 213,553. Any questions?
No.
No? Okay. District technology, 3145 is 233,347. No. No questions on that? Okay. 3220 principals, 958,30. Any questions or discussion there?
No.
No? Okay. 3230 teaching services, $6,743,651. Any questions, discussion there?
Yes.
Okay.
So on this one, I've had conversations with Mark and Kathy, and I can see both sides, but I feel, I'm worried we're maybe too aggressively right-sizing.
Okay.
And that, I think it makes sense for kindergarten, first grade, but if there's some up in the air decisions about the other grades, I'd like to budget to keep the existing positions we have. So if that adds, I think when we were talking, it would add back in one FTE.
Correct.
So it would be in addition to the budget of $62,579.
Okay.
So again, the goal is to look at those and say, all right, we think we can do this. Again, a lot of it goes in, is in play when we do that, and it's trying to use our numbers. Our overall enrollments are down a little bit. Our school choice is down. But this would just lock us in more to, less possibility of having to, reduce.
Right.
So, okay.
And I know there's some discussion as to whether it might be a classroom teacher, whether it might be special areas, there's some
Yeah.
wiggle room there, but I personally would like to see us not, hypothetically, whether it's cutting special areas or cutting, whether it's time, positions, things like that. I think it's important to keep things as they are. I would love to see specials come back to kindergarten in some capacity, even
Yep.
if it's not, all specials every week. And I think by keeping an additional FTE in there, it gives us more freedom to figure things out.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kara, do you want to make a motion to amend that?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to add in, and I'm not sure, Kathy, what line it would have to go into the budget, but the overall for cost center 3230 would be to add 62,579, which would bring the FY26 appropriation request for this cost center to $6,806,230. And obviously, it would increase the final budget, which we can talk about that now or later. I don't know what makes more sense.
Why don't we pause on that,
Okay.
and we could talk about the whole thing, just see if we have any other
There might be
changes.
some other changes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second on that?
Second.
Second, all right, discussion. So, this is something that's been bothering me all weekend. I've already said it to Mark. And I agree with you, Kara. When we look at this number, and I know that our budget is, I know we want to be conservative. I want to be conservative. I want to make sure that we are thinking about the taxpayers in the town. But then I look at this number on line 3,900, which is a significant increase. For 10, what did we say, 10 kids for Bristol Aggie? And
Correct.
I know that I don't want to penalize other students in the district. I'm all for right-sizing classrooms if we need to. If, we talked about this, like 25 students in a class. So if a grade is about 100 kids, then we're at 4 classrooms. If it's over 100, we're looking at increasing to 5. But for me, to think about cutting any kind of specialists, especially for elementary, where they have so little as it is, or reducing, especially where we already reduced the kindergarten, I don't want to go in that direction. And I know that I'm really rolling the dice and hoping that, again, I want all of the Bristol Aggie kids and the Norfolk Aggie kids to go where what is right for them, but I don't want to penalize other
The
students for
majority of
that.
the student
So,
body. Yeah.
that's something that really has been weighing on me over the last couple of days. Does anyone want to add anything? Any other thoughts?
No, I agree, we want well-rounded education, and I believe we can have a modest budget adjustment here without, significant financial strain, so I think we can do it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, so we'll vote on that by roll call. Mrs. Myaskowski? So just as a reminder, that is an amendment to the teaching services line. It's an addition of $62,579,000 for a new total of $6,802,230.
So Robin Dragonetti,
Yes.
Kara Lazardi,
Yes.
Christine Myers-Skowski, yes. David Smear.
Yes.
So I'm gonna repeat back. Robin Dragonetti, yes. Kara Lazardi, yes. Christine Myers-Skowski, yes. David Smear, yes.
So moved. Okay. The next line is 3235 professional development for 43,000. Any discussion? No? Okay. 3240 for instructional supplies for 130,912. Any discussion there? No? Okay. 3245 instructional technology for $241,075. Any discussion?
No.
No.
No, okay. 3270, guidance and testing for $331,704. Any discussion on that one?
No.
No.
No. 3310, ESL service for $327,029. Any discussion on that one?
No.
No? Okay. Next line is 3320 medical services for $297,265. Any discussion?
No.
No.
No? Okay. 3330 transportation for $625,040. Discussion there?
No.
No.
No? Okay. 3350 student body activities for $592,536. Discussion?
No.
3411 custodial services for $722,828. Discussion on that line?
No.
So we have a little bit of reduction from last year. That's due to retirements,
Correct,
change in salary.
correct.
Okay. 3412 heating for $148,838. Discussion? No? Okay.
I'm sorry, is this gonna include what's happening at Spring Street right now?
That's a good question. Sorry for moving on.
Well, so,
The cafeteria, the heating problem?
That's a current year budget.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
a
it's
Okay.
right
yeah.
here. Okay.
Okay. 3413 utilities for $303,727. Discussion on that?
Nope.
No. Okay. Maintenance of grounds, 3421 for $27,000. Discussion on maintenance of grounds?
No.
No. Okay. 3422 maintenance of buildings for $101,588. Discussion?
No.
3423 equipment maintenance, $128,400. Discussion on that line?
No.
Okay. 3520 insurance, $39,690. Discussion there? No? Okay. Equipment acquisition, 3730, we have nothing, no discussion there. And the same for 3740 equipment replacement. All right.
I believe our needs for those two line items are met through the capital budget.
Yeah.
It has in the past, yes.
Yes. Okay. Good clarification there. 3900 Norfolk and Bristol Aggie, 462,000. Discussion?
So
I think-
that's 15 kids applied?
That's 10 students who have applied, and we're 5 returning next year. So a total of 15
Yep.
Sorry,
potential.
We find out in April, May?
They can apply until April 1st, then they'll be rolling after that. So we'll find out throughout the spring. Hopefully, we find out sooner or later, just so, because it affects, obviously, the budget heading towards town meeting.
Okay.
I actually just wanted to share in a conversation with Kathy this morning. She shared a piece of data that historically, the kids who apply get accepted and go. You said it was at 100%?
Just, yeah,
Yeah.
well, pretty
So-
much, maybe
Budget
one.
for
Yeah.
it. Don't-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether or not that holds true this year, I think it's a useful, especially when we go to the town next week.
Yeah.
And this is something, I think it's been referenced before, they have until April 1st to apply. So this number conceivably could go up.
Okay.
You know, more unlikely than at this point, but just to put it out there.
That's a possibility. It's good to know. Any further discussion there?
No.
Okay, line 3211, special ed administration, 205,334. Discussion?
So we have a bit of a jump here. Is that due to a change in the way we apply our school contribution, or is there another reason?
3211. Page 26.
That's due to rolling stipends into salary,
Okay.
as you had requested in the contract.
So you'll see a reduction. If you look at contractual obligations, you'll see that's down,
Okay.
and this one is up, similar to what we did before.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Anything else on that line? No? Okay, 3231, special ed services, $766,151. Discussion there? No. Line 3232, special ed teaching services, $2,134,177. Discussion there?
So percentage-wise, that's probably our largest increase, right? Oh, no, not with the Norfolk Aggie
Yeah.
possible
Not
enrollment.
compared to-
But anyway, this is one that may stand out when we bring this to
Might be school
the Finance Committee and
contributions.
Board of Selectmen.
Is that question?
32,
Is it 3231? Is that the page we're on now?
This is
I feel like I don't.
So,
Did I go
3232.
Yeah, you're the next one. It's out of order.
We're on
compared to
32.
the cover.
Okay.
are we on 3232?
Is this-
3232.
Yeah,
All right.
32, 32.
Oh, you know
So
what,
do you
I
have a
had written a
question?
note. So, okay,
Yeah,
so
the
I'll
cover.
answer the question. So I think the question was just to explain the increase, right? And Kathy had noted last time that we were being cautious in expected grants. Is that
Okay.
correct?
Well, part of it is
Yeah.
that, yes, we have about 110,000 less of school contribution
Yep.
applied to that line.
Yeah. Any other questions there?
What I think is important to point out too is our school contributions are about 16%, I believe, of our the overall budget, which I do believe is larger than most cities and towns, the percentage. So I think we're continuing to put more and more in each year, even when things are dropping like school choice.
Okay, line 3280, special ed psych services, $465,124. Any questions there? Okay. 3331, special ed transportation, $486,750. Discussion there?
No.
No? Okay. The next two lines, 3731, special ed equipment acquisition, and 3741, special ed equipment replacement, are both zero, again, through capital
If
budget as needed.
yes.
And then the last line, 3910, out-of-district tuition for $1,530,000. Any discussion there?
Here we have a decrease, and that is just due to change in our needs, I assume.
No, it's actually, part of it is that last year we applied $470,000 of revolving accounts against the out-of-district tuitions. This year, we are applying $800,000 of circuit breaker mainly, and some small amounts of the 240 budget against out-of-district tuition.
Okay,
Circuit breaker can really only be used for tuition, transportation, and other limited services.
Just ask for
Yeah.
Okay, so, with the
Can I ask-
addition, do we have a new?
Can I just ask one,
Yeah,
just clarifying?
yep.
So the amount that was approved was 62,579?
Yep,
Okay. And just want to make sure it
So,
flows
yeah,
to the,
so if, and that's the amount I looked to add in, and I think the new total on line 3230 is $6,803,163.
just want to make sure we get it accurate.
Okay.
It's not off by, it's not much of a difference, but I
It
want
was
to make,
because the money moved for your contract, I have the old number.
oh, okay.
Ah, that's why
All
we're
right.
looking at the
My number
old
was
sheet.
different.
Okay, all
Okay.
right, that's fine, just thank you
So-
for clarifying that.
What is the, and I have the old sheet here as well. I've got scribble marks all over it, but I'll defer to the expert here. What is the new number on that, Kathy? For the total,
So
the
when
bottom
I
line.
added the change that we were just given in, that is $18,609,916.
I have the same.
Okay. Move to accept the budget as amended, with a new bottom line appropriation request for fiscal year '26 to the town at $18,609,916. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion? So, anything else we want to talk about with the whole budget? No? I mean, I want to thank you both for working on this. I know it was kind of a crunch, and especially with the addition of the, the Norfolk and Bristol Aggie kids, and then just kind of a scramble. I appreciate all your help.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for the questions, because again, we want to do the best we can to provide a budget that's best for our kids and our staff, and I think that's the ultimate goal of everyone, that it meets all of our needs, but also work within the confines of the town as well, so try to balance all those parts of it.
All right, so we'll do this vote by roll call. Mrs. Myaskowski?
Robin Dragonet?
Yes.
Kara Lozardi?
Yes.
Christine Myers-Cosi? Yes. David Smear?
Yes.
David Net? Robin Myers? Yes. Kara Lozardi? Yes. Christine Myers-Cosi? Yes. David Smear? Yes.
So moved. Okay, that brings us to public comment. Members of the audience wishing to address the committee may do so at this time. Audience members shall limit comments to 3 minutes and are reminded that public comment is not a discussion, debate, or dialogue between individuals and the school committee. Personnel issues or issues that would violate student or employee confidentiality cannot be addressed during the public comment. Right, seeing none, move on to questions and recommendations by the committee. I do want to add here that Mrs. Milton and I met last week and discussed the updates to the policies, and we found one more policy. So I would like to make a motion to, actually, it's two policies, a two-part policy. I'd like to make a motion to open IGC, which is titled Establishing New Courses and Programs of Study, and IGC-R, Procedure for Implementing New Course, in addition to JL, Student Welfare. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All right, so the addition, a discussion on that, the addition of student welfare is due to recommendations based on the insurance audit.
Yes.
And we're going to look at some recommended language from our attorney and come back to the committee next month with the revisions. All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor? Aye. So moved. Okay, our next regular school committee meeting is April 7th, 2025, at 6 PM in the middle senior high
Robin,
school.
sorry,
Yes.
Can I just bring something up?
Yeah, of course, I'm sorry.
Because again, I had a
I'm ready to
meeting-
go.
I had a meeting with Mark and Kathy this morning, and I think that we're gonna need to find a way to help convince the town they need to upgrade our softwares. The payroll system, everything they use for, there's no module for HR. There's no really useful way to keep track of employees and their longevity, their salaries, their benefits, what steps they're on. There's so many employees in the town, they're doing so much manual data entry.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to start that process of talking to the town about this, but we're the largest employer in the town, and the systems they're using are 25 years out of date.
Okay, and it's most impactful for you.
It
because
is.
We
It's
have
impacting
so
the
many
way
employees, yeah.
That we
Yeah.
budget, the way that Kathy's able to report to us.
Ease of information
It's
or
not
gathering
efficient.
information, the time it takes to do things, it takes way too long to do simple tasks, and that can create user error if you're inputting all this stuff by
Yeah.
hand, so.
Things are being manually input multiple times for the
Right.
same thing.
Yeah, it's not a good use of your time
Right.
when software would take care of it. All right, thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely.
Any other questions or recommendations before I?
Well, based on that recommendation, it sounds like that could be a capital expense.
So it's
And
the
it
town.
could
It's be the
software.
town,
So
but
Oh,
yeah.
it's just,
not-
it's the town. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
So they need to upgrade so that we can, but we're the largest employer, so they're not as antsy
Biggest
about it.
user of this system.
I mean, we could certainly look to move forward with representatives from a subcommittee to maybe talk to the town to say, you know, what are the systems that are out there? What could we do to look townwide? 'Cause I think we have the biggest number of staff, but it would be helpful, I think, for the whole town has to be on the same system.
Oh,
so.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that that's something that, while it would be a capital budget item for the town, I think that's something that the budget subcommittee, because it has such an impact on how the budget is done and just the whole HR process, I think that that's something the budget subcommittee can start to communicate with the town over. All right, anything else? Okay, now I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.